Hello, welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is our Ask Me Anything Dune rap party. We'll be discussing the game characters and so on. Our viewers and fans in the chat are more than welcome to toss questions at me on the cast, so buckle up and prepare your inquiries for right now. Just in the way of the announcement at the top of the show, I want to remind everybody about the terrible events unfolding in Gaza right now. In addition to the incessant bombing campaign waged by the Israeli government, the Palestinian people are now facing a real famine unless aid is delivered immediately and sustained. Currently, France, Jordan, Egypt, the UAE, and the US have begun this effort with airdrops, but we have to keep up the pressure so that we can avoid yet another devastating loss of life. Leading the way online is the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or USCPR. So head on over to uscpr.org and use the resources there. Make your voices heard. Share the link on social media and help spread the message in an effort to get others involved in the struggle. Again, that's uscpr.org for the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Um, let's start off by, I guess we should introduce ourselves before we begin with the questions. Although presumably everybody already knows who we all are. Yes.
I mean, we're used to you calling on us, Eric.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Jared.
Hello. My name is Leo. You can find me here at Leo the Black. And today I am not playing Archibald, but
But you
answering
have questions.
and or asking questions about said Archibald. Last time we left him though, he was on had a little bit of a bomb dropped on him. Turns out he is integrated with Allfather, and he just got to the main planet for the Space Guild. And
Junction.
let's just say they may be near extinction right now.
They got wiped out, yeah. Moon, I don't know who you are.
Hi, I'm Khaldun Khalil. I usually play Nadim Harkonnen, everyday Mentat, and you can find me on Twitter at @KKhalil. You can find me on the Storytellers Vault on Drive Through RPG, that's everything.
And of course, Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I'm Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, including Twitter. I got sucked back in. I hate the royal family. Make it stop. I'm also on Blue Sky. I am here on Twitch running shows so far every weekday, but we're going to take a little bit of a pause as I prepare an Old Gods of Appalachia campaign. But yeah, I'm here. Other people are here running really cool shows that are worth watching. And yeah, Stolen Fires on Blue Sky. And I played Lady Daphne, who finally had her babies.
Yes. And I'm, of course, Eric at Modern Recruits Online. Feel free to send in any questions you may have about the recent, season and subsequent story arcs and such.
I mean,
I'm sure you all have burning questions as well. Whichever one of you wants to start, feel free to do so.
I'm just gonna tell the audience that if we don't get any questions, you just get to watch us talk about Dune 2, which we were doing while we were waiting to go live.
Yeah, if you haven't done so already, go out and watch it. It's quite an experience.
Yeah. As I was saying in the run up, oh, okay. Alisai has a question. Well, okay, Alisai, it is technically Ask Us Anything, so...
Anything.
So, was Trotsky a weak and ineffectual leader afraid to do what he needed to do? Or was Lenin an egotistical bastard willing to throw bodies at his own altar? I would say Stalin was more the ruthless one in this equation. And if Stalin hadn't been such a fucking sociopath, Russian history would have gone very differently, because Lenin specifically did not want Stalin to succeed him, and tried to make that not happen, and then underestimated Stalin's ruthlessness.
I appreciate you answering that question, because my response would have not been very informative at all.
I think Trotsky had some really good ideas, but failed to understand the nature of realpolitik.
Right. Well, he no longer wished to be constrained by like a state apparatus, so he wanted the revolution in a sense to spread globally, which is not going to work out in a real politics situation, because I think what people often don't understand is that Russia, the USSR, was the weaker power throughout its history. Like the U.S. has been, globally dominant for a very long time, and by the time the USSR emerged as like it was never an equal threat.
I mean, I would also go further and say that the Russian Revolution was not that much of a revolution. Like, all they really did was change the rules of political inheritance. Because
Right.
you still had a czar. You just call him the party head, and you get rid of the nobility and replace it with party functionaries. But other than that, it's pretty much the same government structure.
Of course, the United States was just pissed off that our guy in Cuba was no longer, there for us to be in control of. So.
Well, I mean, it was a socialist system, so it definitely threatened the global dynamic, and the U.S. was basically taking over from Britain, this like kind of global capitalist enterprise. So I could see why the USSR was seen as such a threat. There's a really good book. It's called "The World Was Going Our Way," which is basically about how for a long time, especially in the 70s and 60s, there was a distinct idea as decolonialism was happening that this kind of Soviet system might actually overtake the world. Like the whole like domino theory idea. I mean, really the idea wasn't so much that they were opposed to these nationalist movements or even decolonialization so much. What they were really opposed to is these governments leaving the capitalist orbit and therefore leaving the international system dominated by the United States.
That's interesting. I had always thought that we just, hyped up the threat, the red threat, with the outrageous propaganda throughout the
Yeah, I
the
mean,
50s and stuff.
if you look at the global system, it's not all about money, but money is very important. There's why is Europe on top? Why does Haiti owe France money? Like, you kind of start asking these questions, and you start seeing that there's a system in place to keep the pecking order in a certain hierarchy.
Hey.
I could finally use my degrees.
I suspect also that part of the fear of Russia was sort of seeing it as a mirror of the United States, and that Russia has a lot of land and a lot of people and a lot of natural resources to exploit, and they're like, if they get their shit together the same way we've gotten our shit together.
I hope that answers your question, Alisai.
Yeah. So the drunken storyteller asks, what's your fave Kate M conspiracy? I actually feel really bad about mine because I thought William had done something real bad to her, but it's cancer, and I wish her medical privacy and a quick recovery, and I'm sorry for being so speculative. But also get a better media team.
I've not been up on any of that, so.
Me neither. I have not.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess I hope they're telling the truth now. Like, cancer would be a crazy thing to lie about. I wouldn't put it past them. This is not exactly an institution known for being truthful or transparent. So I wouldn't also put it. So who knows? If it's true, then yeah, I wish her the best and a speedy recovery. It was rather depressing, though, to see her make a cancer diagnosis public while sitting alone on a bench, like with literally none of her family or her husband nearby. I guess they didn't want, they didn't want to show the heir basically sitting like a dupe next to her on a bench. So they'd rather just have her alone,
I can only hope that was her call of like, I want the focus to be on me and not anyone else. Right, who knows?
I honestly doubt it. I mean, they threw her under the bus about the Photoshop stuff. Like, it was totally ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of pity for them, so whatever.
To be honest with you, I'm not very fond of the whole royal thing. I honestly think that type of government is very, very outdated and now. And to be honest with you, I think they're just more, I guess, celebrities over there than actual, I guess, established government. But
I got some bad news about Dune and the way government works 10,000 years into the future. Turns out we
yeah,
haven't learned anything.
nope, not at all.
I don't know. Does anybody remember that Schoolhouse Rock song, "No More Kings"? I mean, come on, like get rid of those people. I mean, don't give them cancer, but still, let them retire.
I mean, it's funny because in this game, to bring it back to this game, Daphne has essentially gone off the grid for 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, imagine how many Photoshop pictures of Daphne there are out there.
Yeah. Like multiple pictures
She's got
are like
6
oh,
kids all around her. Like,
yep.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
so what's
And,
real
like,
fun?
she has one hand on each kid.
Well, so what's real fun is, she actually does have, like, the blue on blue eyes and the Chris knife at her belt, and so, that's great grist for the rumor mill at the Lanzarod.
That can all be Photoshopped out.
Yep.
He starts wearing those special contacts.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's a thing. You can wear contacts to hide that.
I suspect that's why the Bene Gesserit wear veils all the time, so it's harder to
One
pick it
reason.
up on.
Yeah, sure.
I also commented to Bob in the movie. I liked how Paul's eyes get bluer and bluer as time progresses.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I know that, not Archie, Jared, I know he has questions prepped, but he has had to do, tiny human care, so chat, what else would you like to know? Drunken Storyteller says Dune 2 was so good, I agree. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that Jessica and Chani got really, personalized storylines. And I like how Chani was set up to be a foil for Stilgar. So you've got Stilgar who's motivated by his faith in the Mahdi, and his faith in Paul as the Mahdi. And then you've got Chani who's like, wait, no, this is bullshit. It's all bullshit. So I'm really interested on if they decide to have her reconcile with Paul in the third movie, or because the way 2 ends, sorry Jared, spoilers.
But
The way 2 ends, she's about ready to go off and lead the resistance.
interesting.
I think
Yeah, that's a tough one because I mean, like as we were discussing before we came on, Dennis, if I may call him Dennis.
I mean, that's between you and Dennis.
Well, I'm half Algerian, so I can call French people by their first name, whether I know them. That's in our constitution. I can call them much worse, in fact. But yeah, Dennis, as we were saying before we came on, is like obviously a very visual director. I'd say some of his movies often kind of veer into plot nonsense. Like I love the Arrival. That's him, right? I love the Arrival, but like the plot of the Arrival is obviously has huge giant holes like most time travel movies do. So I feel that who knows how he's going to reconcile it or make it happen. But one thing's for sure, the characters will have to talk. So he's got to get in on that. I don't know. He can't just film them like staring at each other and then expect us to get it.
So in terms of me, I haven't watched number 2 yet. I was going to, but other things happened. That's beside the point. But I did watch number 1. And honestly, I thought number 1 was great. I know this is like an issue this is kind of like my personal issue. And I know in like especially like the 1980 movies where everything is like super fast paced, where the Atreides are not on Arrakis for, in my honest opinion, for like not for basically they're not on there for very long, and they just instantly go to the betrayal. I read the books and that was kind of different for me, just because in the books it's definitely like placed out like they took out the big dinner scene and like a couple other scenes in the front, and I was like, I felt like that was premature. But other than that, that was kind of like the only issue I kind of had with the first movie.
I do miss the dinner scene. That was
Yeah, like the dinner scene wasn't there, and I was kind of looking forward to that scene, to seeing the Atreides just rip the crap out of everybody.
Yeah,
Let it-
no. I'm also sad that the second movie cut out Count Fenring. Especially because his wife has her own plotline. Avoiding spoilers for Leo's sake, but like I think it would have made it more poignant to be like, oh, and by the way, she's married, and here's her husband, but she's still doing this.
Yeah,
Extra
I feel.
spicy.
Yeah, I mean, because they combined the Count Fenring and the Fade character into one character, basically. So everything, so like Count Fenring's purpose in the book is basically subsumed into Fade, which I actually think was it makes things simpler, certainly.
Yeah.
But actually, I also think it was narratively and thematically actually better done than especially for a movie. Like in a book, you can kind of go off the trail every now and then, and you can come back. And in a movie, if you get off the trail, especially with an American audience, you're just going to lose people. So I feel that was pretty well done, and I think what it especially did, and I think you have to kind of credit the 1984 the Lynch Dune movie for making this happen. Because I think if we didn't have that movie, we wouldn't have this dynamic of Fade actually being an important character, as opposed to kind of like this like throwaway like body in the book. He's kind of like, and here's Fade, like this guy is something up the whole book, and he just like drops dead like almost instantly. But in the movie, they kind of set him up as almost as a mirror to Paul.
Yeah, the dark reflection.
They're basically just a reflection of each other, these like pawns in the game, and I thought that was really well done. I think that was actually something I preferred in the movie to the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things I kind of prefer in the movie to the book, just because they hammer home some themes, even though the movie makes some really disastrous mistakes thematically. It's still a great movie.
The interplay between the Harkonnens, the siblings in particular, I really enjoyed that. I think they nailed that aspect of it, I feel.
I will mildly criticize Dave Bautista in that his Raban seems more dumb and confused than malicious. But other
yet
than
again,
that,
channeling the Lynch movie.
Yeah.
Where Raban is basically just like a doofus.
Yeah. By design, I think the original idea that the Baron had was to have the face of House Harkonnen be Raban, to brutalize the populace of Arrakis. So that way, when things get a certain way, he brings in Fade, and it's a softer,
but like they
look to.
I will trade this shit for this shit. Just please, I don't want for this shit.
Yeah, basically, it's a softer face to the same regime.
Yeah, but like I don't think they ever really got across that like, oh yeah, this guy he's a dumb jock, but he's really inventive about ways to make you suffer.
So
sorry, go ahead.
I had a question about Fenrig. For you, Eric. Are we gonna see more of his wife in the next season?
That depends.
Oh God.
Well, because remember, she's affiliated with the Sisterhood.
Yeah.
The only time that you actually met Margot, I think, was in season 3, as House Cheshire was arriving on Arrakis, and she just kind of made an aside to Daphne because she, game recognized game, um, and was kind of like, "Hey, this is what's going on" and such, and kind of gave you a little, uh, gave you some clues, and then left. She was there very briefly.
Yeah, like
Yeah, depending if you go towards the Sisterhood, aka Wallach 9 or Wallach X, however you want to say it, that's probably a good indication that you're gonna interact with characters like her.
Well, I was thinking because right now Count Fenring is kind of in a lot of shit right now.
Not really.
Well, yes and no. He's good at what he does. I'm just saying he could use her as a scapegoat, or as like a backup maybe.
I'm not
I wouldn't-
sure.
I
how
don't
we
think
could
he would
use
throw his
her
wife
as
under
a
the bus like that.
scapegoat. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
might get me out of this mess, kind of thing. So
Yeah, Fenring's always been like the number one to the Emperor, right? Like his assassin advisor, mentat buddy, and he gets more of a role in the prequel books, as I recall. Like he does a lot more underhanded, dirty shit for the Emperor. In the regular sort of timeline, he's just kind of like a would-be Kwisatz Haderach that was part of the Sisterhood's plan originally. There's a line towards the end of the first book when Paul first arrives, and he, sizes everybody up in the throne room, including Fenring and the Emperor. And there's a moment that they sort of lock eyes, and both of them recognize each other for what they are. And Fenring almost has he has a moment that he feels sorry for Paul because he knows what's going to happen to him. And so when originally when the Emperor gives Fenring his friend, the blade, and says kill this guy, he denies him, and the Emperor just slugs him like, you bastard, do what I tell you to do. But yeah, they both sort of recognize each other, like, oh, you were supposed to be that thing for the Sisterhood as well, and this is what happened to you.
oh nice.
So
Yeah,
Fenring
Fenring
just
kind
settled
of.
for what he got.
Yeah, Fenring kind of does a Matthew Broderick in War Games, where he basically says the only way to win is not to play.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of his arc, is that he's not gonna do it. Like he avoided that fate in the first place, and he's not about to jump in the spot now.
Makes sense.
We have an arriving cast member.
All right. What's going
Oh
on?
hey,
So that kind of brings me to my other question for Rachel now. So at the end of the book in Dune, all right, obviously they take over everything. How is Rachel going to handle, especially with Jessica? You know what I mean? Like how the Baron is technically related to Jessica. Like how are you gonna position that in the next season?
Well, so the one thing is that we ended the last season not knowing who's alive and who's dead. So we don't know if they got Jessica or Paul in the raid on Arrakeen, or what happened to her, or where she is. So the answer to that question is gonna be like a lot dependent on, is she alive? Where is she? What is she up to? Because Daphne's taken her place in the siege. She has taken over the role of Mother Ramala, which is what Jessica does in the movie. So
Are you gonna take over as lover with Duke Leto, who may be emperor, by the way?
no.
Go well.
Leto is under arrest currently for inciting an insurrection, according to the Emperor. So
he also made a pretty good case to the Landsrod Now,
even if that's the case, like unless
game.
the rest of the Landsred acts on it, like he's kind of screwed.
Like,
Real quick, we got a Devin in the house.
hello,
Devin,
Lady
tell everybody
Norma.
who we are, where they can find you online, and all that good stuff.
Hello, one and all. I'm Devin. You can find me online at Sorta Sullied. And, well, I'm dead.
But you gave
This
your
isn't about your
life.
death. It's how you live. It's about how you lived.
You gave your
I
life
lived.
for a
I-
worthy
I
cause.
lived- I lived so that the Baron might. Wait, no, I died so that the Baron might die. Yeah, good enough.
You took him with you. He died.
No,
He dead.
Yeah, you died for a good cause.
I took him down a glow globe.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I imagine you also have some questions, Devin, that may have gone unanswered.
Give me half a second to think about it.
Sure, take all the time you need.
I was commenting earlier that because a couple people asked Daphne, "Hey, where is Norma?" And Daphne's like, "I have no idea. She's doing her own thing. She'll show up when she's needed." But then if she ever hears that the Baron is dead, she'll put like 2 and 2 together and be like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
What if like they do that experiment bullshit like they did on UA's wife? Like reanimate her somehow.
The Harkonnens
Whoa.
can't do that, but
That
the
was just
Tleilaxu, of course,
torture.
can always, for the right amount of money, they can always bring
Just
somebody
like,
back.
They can hire the Tleilaxu to do some sketchy ass.
I mean, Daphne wouldn't because, in large part, because of her experience with Beatrice, where Beatrice looks like Alicia, but Daphne knows it's not Alicia.
Yeah.
That doesn't have her personality or her memories or anything. And so, like, yeah, even if we could clone Norma, it wouldn't be Norma. It would just be a clone of Norma.
Oh yeah. Anyway.
Hola.
And Devin is taking us on a tour of his apartment.
That's pretty
Not-
cool.
You got Beatrice. What's your
Not in my apartment.
Oh, okay. Oh, still getting the tour, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
no. To loop back to what Jared said, Daphne is.
This one's apartment.
Oh, look at that popper face. But Daphne has no interest in Duke Leto.
Really surprising. Surprising.
Okay, well, so she already has Varys. Maybe also possibly Zoshir, to be determined next season. So hands full already. Also, she's not marrying a man who's in love with another woman.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well, I'm just saying, Jessica, if she dies in this whole attack,
No,
there you go.
like,
Hey, why are you trying to play matchmaker over here, man?
there would have to be a lot
It's
of
like a
plot
business.
twists for that to be a viable option for her.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not Archibald make me a match. It was Norma.
Norma was the matchmaker, correct?
Right?
Also, if even if he somehow manages to get out of the situation he's in, if the Harkonnens were successful in removing the Atreides from Arrakis, like that's it for their house. According to the rules of Canley, they lost. So you're all in exile together, and the only ones that came out on top were the Harkonnens. Congratulations to the dean.
Wow. Okay. So what's
Well,
the
I mean,
for
yeah.
Nadim?
Oh yeah, it would be just Nadim. Oh well, yeah.
What would be the
Well,
next step?
there's also the brothers thus far.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna give them much credit to live too long without dearest uncle keeping them afloat.
I mean, that was a good pun. Uh, but yeah, no, I don't know. I would give them a little bit more credit than that. Just a little bit, not too much.
Yeah, I don't give them the credit to go through the how should we say navigating the political waters.
Well, they won't necessarily have to. They're on Arrakis. They won, and the rest of the Imperium is in turmoil right now after Junction just got nuked, and the Emperor is dealing with his own problems.
Like
So-
being infected with nanites.
Potentially, if that's a thing, who knows? But yeah.
So what is the next step for Nadine, anyways, considering where you left him?
Nadim. Well, he was on the outs of the Harkonnens from everything that we saw last time, where the people that were supposed to bring him safely to Arrakis tried to see how he would like airboarding for the first time through the skies of Arrakis. He narrowly avoided death then. So I think it's safe to say that Piter didn't want the competition and decided to act on it and remove him permanently, just like they did his brother.
But did they? Yeah,
But
did.
did they?
I mean,
Take a
Well,
trip.
yeah, I mean that was the main reason Nadim was working to establish his own power base on Arrakis that wasn't totally dependent upon the Harkonnen, because he knew that was eventually what was going to happen. Like, you know, either because he knew his brother was had no chance of succeeding in his scheme. That eventually he would be caught, and that Nadim would basically have to do things on his own. So he basically just needed to use what his brother provided for him until to make his own power base.
And then
Yeah,
you,
like
your
his own
brother's
work.
spotter, got you.
Well, no, I mean, he did that to himself. I mean, he screwed up on his own.
Yeah, he made the wrong choice at the dinner party.
Yeah.
He tried to take an opportunity and eliminate the Harkonnen siblings, and it blew up in his face.
Yeah, I think that was more of, I'm impatient. I want this now. In my opinion.
No, I mean, he is a person of excess. That was established in the
Mhm.
first session when Nadim noticed that he was addicted to both spice and a Samuda. And he was like, oh, I could use that against him. And sure enough, he got in control of the one of the syndicates on Arrakis that helps to provide him with those narcotics. So yeah, he definitely achieved what he set out to do, I think.
Gotcha. So, Devin, I have a question for you now.
Okay.
What are you planning on playing next season? Or do you think Norma's going to come back from the dead? Or
No Norma coming back from the dead. We are not going down that Gola hole. You've done quite enough, Archibald. We don't need another person trying to bring back the dead. I'm not sure. Honestly, I was thinking about the smuggler, because we have had a lacking of smugglers.
that's a good point.
Smugglers will be
And let's
very,
face it,
useful.
smuggling is going to be very, very prime now. We just, I mean, let's face it, we're gonna have to either A, get a hold of some remnant people to be able to go from place to place, or B, some forbidden technology. Oh, would you look at that? I got a 25% chance to get you where you're going. But you know what? That's 25% higher than you had before.
I mean,
I'm
I
just saying. I did it. Archibald did it, so it's possible.
I mean, I've thought about who I'd want to play if we ever did a generation skip. Um, like,
Oh yeah.
I would actually probably want to play Milos, who like
Oh.
at some point, Varys took him aside and was like, "Look, your mother has some really great ideas about pacifism, but someday someone is gonna come for your sister, and here's what you're gonna need to know how to do."
Take these knives.
Well, that's a great question too. Do you think your daughter's going to kill the Baron, considering what's going on in the books?
No, because so Alia killed the Baron because the Baron was her grandfather, and she had that weird relationship because of Jessica doing the Water of Life, and that was her lineage, etc., etc. Um,
Hello, grandfather.
yeah, currently Daphne's daughter has no reason, no like compelling motivation to want to kill the Baron. The only thing there would be, and it doesn't matter because he's already dead.
Hello, Grunkle.
That is disturbing.
I mean,
They did
honestly,
such a good job in the previous movie with Alia. So I mean, I'd be creepy.
honestly, the big threat, and I worry that I'm giving Eric ideas here, but the big threat would be that Daphne's son Milos gets taken over by the first Milos and internalizes that hostility towards the Cheshires and they fucking killed me. What the fuck?
So
Well,
I hadn't thought of
I'm-
that, but sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that sort of thing would have already taken place because the whole abomination track, like with Alia, the determining factor as to who was that prime source of keeping them sane in the series was in the very, very beginning, around conception, since they are fully conceived with their entire psyche, but it's basically determined right at the beginning when that goes through. So if that were the case, then you're carrying around your father.
I mean,
Varys's brother, sorry, Varys. Gregos's brother Milos was kind of a chill character. I didn't write him as a particularly vengeful guy or whatever. He was more of an opportunistic smuggler type. He wasn't at all like his brother. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
So
Yeah.
well, okay, but the real fucked up thing is Soshir killed Milos.
That's true. That's true. He ran him over, or yeah, he destroyed him with a sandworm, just flat.
But that's the one thing that would actually end any sort of romantic entanglement between Daphne and Soshir. If she ever finds out, she'd been like, "Nope, can't do it."
Well, even if it was found out, well, actually, no.
No,
Yeah,
she'd
no,
be
it's
like,
not-
I can't ask my one partner to
It-
be okay that his metamor killed his brother. I'm not even gonna ask Varys to be okay with that.
Well, it wouldn't pop up in your children's memories because it wouldn't be there because the genetic memory split off a long time earlier. So
Right.
you wouldn't have to worry about your kids just knowing this,
Yeah,
at least.
Daphne doesn't know, so they wouldn't know.
Yeah. And like I said, there's no advanced knowledge from them just having the genetic memory either. So right now, the only person who knows is Oshir.
Mm,
So
yeah.
kind of
So Alisai asks, so who's bringing back the dead next season? All eyes on Archibald.
bring back the dead.
Yeah.
Oh, just imagine if I was coming back as Twi'lek's smuggler. Hey, don't worry. I know where I can get an Axtel tank.
Considering
mean-
what Archie has to do in order to be able to have a level playing field with Allfather, he's gonna need to smuggle shit. Because at the moment he has to be this world's version of a net runner right now, and the way to do that to figure out how to do that by going to Ix. So that's kind of like Archie's next plan currently, is to figure out how the fuck to do that.
Not a small feat considering the state of the guild.
Oh, yeah.
Of season.
So, but first things first, we got to cross another mountain. Right now, the machines are attacking the guild's home base, so I have to deal with that on top of that. So,
Hey, you know what's really good against machines?
water.
Atomics.
That's how it's like everything else.
Blow up the space
Yeah.
space guild, right?
No. This is where you have to ask some certain Bene Gesserits that have that type of memory.
Good point.
talking about asking the Duchess to think back about how they might have been useful.
Good point.
If anybody
Asking-
knows where they're at and still has the
asking-
codes.
Daphne about the utility of atomics. Daphne
Yeah.
in particular. No, they're bad.
Yes. No. Asking about the utility of them against machines. Because you can throw them
God.
out there and blow up nukes, but they won't hurt people, but
yeah.
disable machines.
Yeah, I don't think her pacifism would extend to machines. Like,
Yeah,
as
they're
long
not
as she can be
alive.
assured of no collateral damage.
Well, it would be more along the lines of look at what's going on. If you can find a way to make nukes, if you know of a weapon, just like vaguely a weapon, that would be effective against the machines, and then other memory basically says, I mean, they'd have no power, but which is worse, no power or active power destroying them?
Honestly, on Daphne's to-do list is take a trip to the Iasi homeworld, because there was a lot of heresy there. Maybe we can use heresy to fight heresy. At the very least, we
Desperate
want.
times, right?
At the very least, we want to get it before anyone else does.
So what I'm hearing is heresy times call for heresy measures.
It all zeroes out in the end, yeah.
Yeah, it's a zero here. It's a zero heresy set equation.
So also, in terms of Anessa too, like I've been thinking about that. I do think Archibald does have to tell her, because she's gonna want to know where the fuck I'm going. Archie's going.
Oh well, yeah. You're kind of you've been inducted into the new jihad and
exactly.
you've proven
And I'm
your
like-
mettle to them. So yeah.
So she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go." And she's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go over here and become a machine, like transfer."
So, here's a question for Leo then. If we do get to do a generational skip, would you want to play Archie's Child by Yeva or Archie's Child by Inessa?
I don't think
You didn't deny it! You didn't deny it!
so.
Archibald and Inessa's ship confirmed!
We confirmed that a long time ago.
Wait, but they have not done the deed. All right, so Let's get the deed done.
Yet is the key part here. Yet, Archie.
Sec. Honestly, it's really gonna depend on the character that I can play the easiest. For me, I'm not very good at like playing very very good characters. Now, I'm not saying Nessa's kid would be like that, but he would be more towards the good character aspect.
I mean, Anessa's a space pirate.
Well, I know that's what, but she's also got a moral compass. Yeva, on the other hand, will just do anything for power. So,
Okay, you say that she's got a moral compass, but
live for power.
you say that Anessa's got the moral compass, but her moral compass is, does it kill machines?
Well, right now, that's
We haven't really seen if Anessa's willing to be like 1,000 machines for 1,000,000 lives.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna.
Worth the price.
So I think that's what we're going to explore next season, especially with Archie being integrated and Archie having to tell him. So there's going to be a choice Nessa has to make, and that choice is going to be: you're going to kill your only savior, or you're going to have to trust a machine, basically.
I feel like Dune has a lot to say about killing your saviors.
Yeah. Well,
Killing your saviors is good the first time.
I don't know. And that kind of goes to another thing. Like, I also thought about this too. Like, and I remember I think it was a couple episodes ago, and Vanessa's like, yeah, Echo can be whatever he wants. And in my head, and I'm like, no, he can't. Not right now, anyways. We have to survive.
Wait. So that gave me a thought when I said they always kill their saviors the first time. So based on that, you could be the Fremen's real savior. You just have to you've met them now, right? Did you've met the Fremen? Yeah, never mind. Never mind. You didn't know how to do things beforehand.
Oh, no,
So you didn't need all of them. You would just qualify for the coming back to life bit.
Pretty much.
Doesn't.
I mean,
You qualified for 2 out of 3, but that doesn't count.
I mean, if it turns out that, oh yeah, by the way, Daphne, we were wrong. It's not Zoshir, it's Archibald. Someone's getting pushed off a bridge.
What, me? I'd be like, it's not my fault.
Yeah, no, that would entirely be your fault because
It's not your fault, but it's my responsibility. Shove.
yeah.
Wow.
Oof.
It would be a lot harder to get rid of them, but I could see your point there. I get it. You want the religious control.
Bene Gesserit!
Yeah, Ben and
And I mean, you also have to go with the Lady Daphne is definitely the type that will be doing anything for her children. That is also, I mean, it's not really a stolen thing from Lady Jessica because that's just a motherly thing. Will go through anything and will basically F you up because this is for my kids.
I mean, that is legit the one thing that could break Daphne's pacifism. Like, she will absolutely do a murder and not feel bad about it if she thinks she has to do it to protect her kids.
Yeah.
So I know I said I'm not going to kill anybody, but you touched my things. And by my things, I mean, I made this.
So,
And now I unmake you.
so I actually had a couple things about Archibald that I was thinking about because honestly, I have been thinking about. Thing is I know Yeva's very politically driven and very power driven. I feel like if Archie like gave her like, hey, because honestly, she is literally a female version of Archie in a way, basically.
What?
That's-
You don't say.
I don't see the resemblance. I really no.
So I was thinking, I'm like, if I can get her on my team and get her on my side, it would 100% benefit me greatly. But on the other hand, it's a double-edged sword because that machine could like whisper sweet nothings into her ear and be like, "Hey, betray me, betray him, backstab him," and
Well,
you have a
there's still the fact that she's still got the residual poison problem going on.
I was thinking about that too.
I think that's
And-
been already cleared
Oh,
up.
we cured her.
Yeah. Once Aaron, once Ellis and Amira arrived back on Jabberwock, they made a deal. They were like, "All right, we'll get
Right.
rid of this problem for you if you decide to play ball with us." And she was like, "All right, fine. What do you want me to do?" And it was like, Odin I 3.
Yeah, but that still
both sides
requires
killing each other.
updates on her getting more. So that might have become a problem.
I think it was
I don't know.
it was the same antidote that was given to Amira when she was poisoned. I think it was the same sort of derivative or something that was given to her, applied, so that she would not need it anymore. The reason being that the Cheshires have that storehouse on Ikaz through the other house, if you recall, that had all
But
the antidotes
that
and stuff
didn't-
like that for those ancient poisons.
That didn't come like the. Okay, I'm brainy. Norma made the antidote for her, though. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that one didn't come from the storehouse. The only thing that Norma gave to Eloise was more of the poison to keep her alive.
Oh.
So, because
well,
as long as she's still given her dose, she keeps going.
that's cool. And who controls her doses?
That was why it was given to Eloise.
Oh, okay.
So
now
she
she-
still
okay.
has that problem right now. That was, yeah. So
give her the antidote. You just gave her.
I would say that you would have the opportunity then to potentially remove that as a as an aspect of her character if you were to put enough time and energy into finding a permanent version of that antidote or constructing one on Ikaz.
Ikaz. Yeah, no, I'm sure it exists on Ikaz because that was basically or you pull a Norma and you try and do some bodybuilding inside.
Ah.
So I had another question in terms of Archibald. Okay.
Sure.
What was the question?
For me or just in general?
No, I had the question. I just forgot it. Give me a minute.
Give it a minute. I'm sure it'll return.
Yeah.
We're just talking about poisoning and Ikaz and the going back to Ix and Yeva.
Yeah. So, what is Daphne's plan for using Ikaz now that this is a thing? Does Daphne even have Ikaz on the forefront of her mind, or is that just kicking around in the back burner of, yeah, I gotta get to that sooner or later? Later now, I guess, than sooner.
Yeah, so Daphne definitely has Ikaz at the forefront of her mind because, so essentially my concept of Daphne is that she is not super religious, but she did grow up being taught lessons from the Orange Catholic Bible, and so she's internalized a lot of like, oh yeah, this is bad, thinking machines are bad, they are bad and they are wrong, and heretical. And so now that she knows what Archie's been up to, she's like, oh yeah, heresy bad, have to go fight that. oh, I have this one asset and that I have access to all of the Iasi holdings. Also sort of counterbalanced by her wanting to hold them in trust for Masum. Because also from her perspective is like, okay, he doesn't want it right now, but he's a kid, and he's clearly growing into being a political adult. And so at some point he will want it, so I have to take care of it until the time comes to, when he's like 21 and is like, you are now ready to have it.
Here's the thing about Masum. Like, I think that would be the best ending is if Masum got the emperorship from his father. Like, I do think that would be kind of like the best.
No, he would be miserable.
He would be miserable, but I definitely think he'd do right by the empire.
So, with the Ikaz thing in mind, they needed 2 different blood samples, didn't they? This is an Eric question.
Yeah,
it was
samples for
2 blood samples to enter for Ikaz.
Yeah, it's basically a palm reader, the same kind of stuff that you have in the rest of the Dune universe. It's just that it reads your biometrics essentially.
Yeah,
it only the DNA from that family would be allowed entry. Otherwise, you'd be met with a thinking machine that'll finish you.
So I guess the real question would be for then, would Daphne alone be good since she's technically got 3?
That's how she got in originally, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember if it was...
We had...
Because Alicia was there, and I can't remember if we needed both of us.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't recall her being there.
Yeah,
no, she was there.
Yeah, that was when she was still on the kind of okay list. We were trying to... We were still trying to bring her into the fold before we realized, oh, that is long gone.
You were trying to rehabilitate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't realize that was a little bit too late.
Tried.
Gotcha. Too late.
Beatrix is actually really important in those terms because she has Alicia's blood, basically. So in a way, Archie did help with that issue.
All right, don't try to pat yourself on the back too much.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go back to the OG aspect of that. You had an innocent Gola taking the place of a murderer who was going to death with no possibilities of being figured out without...
So here's the thing.
Hyper awareness.
I honestly think Archie would have thought that you guys would have figured it out. He knows that you guys aren't stupid.
You
still
created
a hell of a thing to gamble on.
It is.
You created a perfect clone. No, Archie. Archie created a perfect clone and swapped them out and then said, oh, they'll figure it out with no hints except for the fact that this clone says, I don't know who I am and what you're doing to me. Oh my goodness. Which everyone else would look at and say, we're not following for your tactics, Alicia. Just because you claim innocence doesn't mean we're going to, free you. You're still going to go to death for your crimes.
I'm just saying, those were pretty big. That evidence was pretty big just in general, if you ask me.
Oh. you know what happens in today's society if somebody says, I don't remember doing that. Well, guess what? You did the crime. You're doing the time.
That makes sense. Either way.
I mean, you also got my fiance shot.
What? I didn't. Hey, I was just doing my job and trying to find out where Milos and his brother was. I didn't know that you were.
Archie's so good at politicking. Archie's so good at politicking. That wasn't me. That was, directly caused by my actions. But that wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault. It was just what the circumstances turned out to be.
It wasn't my fault that this is exactly the way that you would have expected this to turn out because you didn't know about it.
I didn't.
I mean, honestly, Archie and Nadim should get together and talk about how things are totally innocent.
You're not wrong.
I mean, it was fun when Daphne had the conversation with Varys, which was like, okay, look, the Afkardis are after me and they're coming after you next. Now I just have to wonder, like, what was he thinking? And she's telling him that.
I honestly think if you didn't swoon him, he probably would have killed you.
That was his plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Archie wouldn't have been the asshole.
No, he would have been the asshole. He would have gotten her killed.
Saving me again, by the way, because I have a knack for doing that and getting no appreciation from the Cheshire House.
You know what Archie has a knack for, really? Archie has a knack for throwing the dice, saying, yeah, that's good, and then somebody else throwing the dice saying, yeah, that's good, and it happens to cancel out the bad aspect of what Archie planned.
Well, so bringing it back to this season, it was good that Archie went to Daphne. He was like, hey, I need to talk to these maybe Fremen. Can you come?
Oh,
and Daphne's like, oh, those are Adwali. Oh, yes, we're going to go talk to the Adwali.
Thank you, Uncle, once again for your plans that we have no idea about, no idea why you did it. But you know what?
You saw me. They saw me investigating everything.
I got to visit the Adwali, and I got to tell them the very important line of Zoshir has forgiven you. Ah, we've lost a moon.
Oh no.
Yeah, you have brought some Archie has brought some very important plot points and everything to the surface, but you're giving Archie credit for stuff he had no knowledge of.
What are you talking about?
The Edwali is one he had no idea.
Someone did it that way too. Like, I was like, yeah, there's this cut on my hand. I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know why they did it, but hey, I got this.
He made a deal with the enemy of the long-standing ancient enemy of the Fremen, the water stealers, who wanted intelligence on the Mahdi and the allied tribes and such. And he was like, I'll give you whatever. Just bring me this Fenring guy.
Yeah.
I feel like
we can't bring you Fenring, but we can put you in front of his butler, his main man of the state.
So I gotta explain that just a tad bit better on that. So my thinking on that whole like confession thing was like, so I read this book.
What's it called? Dune?
No.
Is it written by someone named Herbert?
No, it's called The Blade Itself by
Joe that's Amber. A good one.
I love that book. And Gottlob, Jesus, I forget his name. It's been a while. But anyways, the old man that's like the best character in the whole book, he basically tortures people and he makes them confess.
Oh, Glokta.
Glotka. And so basically he literally weaves his political influence just by torturing high nobles into confessing for shit they didn't even do or did do. Doesn't really
wow.
Well, yeah, because he's a torture survivor himself.
Yep.
And one of the best lines in the book is someone is talking to him about the terrible shit he's doing. And it's like, well, but you've been tortured yourself. Doesn't that give you empathy for other people to not want to do that? And his response is, the only person that being tortured makes you care about is yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah,
that's kind of like my whole thought process on that. I was thinking, like, if I can make this guy confess to some great, like he saw Count Fenrir do this, or this, maybe I can get him. But I was like, okay, just
Well, yeah, but Archie's also operating in a universe with truth-sayers.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna go get me nowhere. Because I thought about well too.
You were thinking you were gonna get a confession, get him to sign it, and then did you expect to like him right then and there, or what were you thinking? Like,
I was honestly thinking that he was gonna give me more, so that way I could implicate Count Fenring and bring him in and torture him into doing the same thing.
By yourself, you
You're
might
not
not have been able to do that. But if you had the right people along with you, you probably most certainly could have achieved that. But that's the thing about something ambitious. Like I want to bring in the Emperor's lifelong childhood friend who's a master assassin and a mentat and all this other stuff. Like and has ins with the sisterhood through his wife. Like you could bring him in, but you're not going to have an easy time of it, and you're probably going to need a lot of help, especially when it comes to this part of like forcing him to confess, because his wife's not the only one who has Prana Bindu. I'll just say that.
Good point.
I mean, that would have been a thing where you could have been with, like, had gone to Norma and been like, I need you for the next few weeks to months, and we need to do some really type
So
of stuff
book,
here.
In the book, Glotka literally kept this one guy in there for months. Pour out every I think there was even one guy where he literally let his nails regrow back just to pull them out again.
Ugh.
Yeah, this book itself is freaking graphic as shit. It's like,
or help me out, my brain just died. Who was the the commander, the general that was mind probed until he like broke through and gained new powers? It was
Teg, Miles Teg.
Miles Teg, thank you. Yeah, or you'd have just tortured our dear friend, our dear Count, until he broke through, because he was definitely one of those humans that was on the cusp. Yeah. So all you might have done is just made him more powerful.
yeah.
That's you.
Not the brain. Whoops.
Speaking of all that stuff, I honestly hope that okay. So I honestly hope that my visions and shit that I'm getting from Allfather, that X can help me with those, like, and not fainting all the time and shit. So
maybe they will. Maybe it's just another trap.
I fucking hope not. I need like, I have gotten nothing but failure right now, and right now I just hope right now I'm at my low point, and all I can go is
the only place you can go is up at this point. Exactly.
And then you find out, oh, there was a sub basement.
Yep.
I mean, if only you knew someone who had an incredible wealth of memories from 3 or 4 different bloodlines.
Yeah, but
yeah, you really gained a whole, like, you've got other memory out the wazoo now.
Oh, you missed it in the finale? I shared memory with Mother Ramala. So I have that whole lineage too now.
Don't forget, you've also got Mohayam in there and everything she had. Yeah, you're oof. Oh. And your kids might, I'm not sure if they might get what you did during, but
she was pregnant when she shared with Ramala, so
that's the one thing that would be up to Eric, because they never actively say if the pregnancy shares with the kids too.
I would say sure. I mean, if they're able to, go back as far as their mother, then conceivably they're also able to go back as far as like the other ancestors and
Okay.
was part of that whole
And
menagerie.
it would have to then be a one-way street just for them, because just imagine if it would and backflowed that way. Ooh, Ramallah
Possession
would well, and then Ramallah would also already have been a little bit more let's
reserved.
just say that shit, because she would have received a hell of a lot more memories than she thought she was getting.
I mean, maybe that's
Yeah.
what killed her.
And
She was ready. She was dying. So yeah.
so I don't know if this makes me a bad player of just RPGs in general, but I know that there is like all this memory, and I could probably find the answers out easier. But I'm gonna be honest, there are certain things that I just want to do, and that one of them is go to Ix, where all the cool fucking
Ix,
machinery
yeah.
is at. So it's like, yeah, I could do it that way, but I could also explore this over here.
That's
That's
fair.
way times cooler.
You have options. That's the main
Exactly.
important part, right? A lot of options to go to pick from.
I think
Any
I
other
also
questions
did
in
that
the
with Two
from the
Pile
chat?
too. Like I did that with Two Pile too. I was like, yeah, you can go to Arrakis, but Two Pile's over there. Like,
If I go over there, I might make it 37 different piles.
exactly. Or I might die. I guess
Yeah.
that's the intrigue. I guess that's one thing about Archibald that I like is like he's like fond of the mystery and I guess the uncertainness of his future to a certain extent. Like he likes
And he definitely likes the uncertainty because he lets it ride that line.
100%.
I mean, I am also curious to see what happens to Nadim. Um, especially does Nadim know that the Baron is dead? Was he able to figure that out?
I don't believe so. I think I left before that happened.
Though I think Nadim is probably in a really good position to be the first person to figure out, like, hey, nobody's seen the Baron in a while. I wonder what's up with that.
If he'd have hung around for 5 minutes, he'd have had a better story about what was going on.
Yeah, but also he's a
but then they probably would have.
mentat.
But then I would be dead. So
Yeah, and he's a mentat. Like, he's got really good deductive reasoning. I don't think it would be that far of a leap.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, having me killed is not a very barren move. So just the fact that they tried to assassinate me would be a clue to the fact that he's no longer in control, if and possibly dead.
Yeah, that's more of a Piter de Vries move.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like the Baron, I feel would have preferred to keep me around just to use me as a pawn. Well, as a threat against Fade and Raban. Just like he uses Fade and Raban against pits them against each other. Having me around to basically as a threat against them would be more useful to him than just killing me, because then he'd have to kill me, which and failing that would make him look bad.
Plus, as far as the Baron goes, when he kills people that have a possible effect on him, he likes to do it in person in a showy manner. Like, I mean, think about your brother. He was like, I bring you here, I serve you dinner, I sit at the forefront looking down upon you. Oh, did I really die? No, I didn't really die there because I made sure I wasn't going to die. But I made sure that you got to squirm before you finally breathed your last. And you squirmed in front of me like the worm that you are to me. An assassin is not his shtick for somebody of your caliber.
You can see it.
So we have a couple more questions in chat. The
Yeah.
drunken storyteller asks, "Does Archie like his new Robo Daddy?"
Well,
I mean, does he have a choice?
not really, no. So I think he. So here's the thing. I honestly think as the story goes on, it's definitely going to be an interesting retrospective between the two. I think it's going to be a chess game between Archibald and the Allfather. Um, I'm the way I want to play it is I want to become, I guess, the way I want to play it is I want to, I guess, become, I guess, the force that kind of evens the playing field with the Allfather in general, even if he has to do heresy. So,
Whatever it takes, right?
yeah, whatever it takes. And in terms of how he feels about him, probably not very good, but I also think that the Allfather is messing with his emotions as well. So,
100%.
yeah,
I see.
go on.
I see Archie thinking that he's going to climb his way up from the integrated rung until he's like, I have control over so many people through the Allfather, and once I take the Allfather out, I will have all the control.
Well, I thought about that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I really did. But then I'm like, I could go to Ix and become a Dune's version of a Netrunner, and I'm like, that's cooler.
That is cooler.
All right, well, and so Betty's Dungeon Adventures asks, "Does ketchup expire?"
Yes,
Yes.
Shit, that's a good question.
Yeah.
it does.
Yes, 100% it does. It's not honey. It expires. Well, unless it's
Got vinegar in it, right?
spice ketchup, because
I
I don't know.
imagine adding melange to ketchup would extend its shelf life. Also, what a waste of melange.
Yeah, don't tell that to
Spicy
middle
ketchup,
schoolers.
bro.
Don't tell that to middle schoolers. Some people think ketchup is life still.
Apparently, this has been a running joke ever since one of the players in the Wraith game was not aware that ketchup expired.
Ah.
Does. So
Wait, what?
One of the players was not aware that ketchup expired.
I imagine they're like me and they keep like an entire drawer full of like ketchup packets and condiments from fast food places. And they're just like, it'll be fine. And then,
I literally have to have
they
ketchup.
get food poisoning. Um,
Well, admittedly, those packets do last longer than the bottles do, but that's because they're single use and they don't get exposed to air and
Yeah,
actually
because
have the
the
process
bottles last
start
for a
building.
while until you open them. Like they're shelf
Sure.
stable until you open them, and then they gotta go in the fridge.
And then it's only a certain amount of time because of the fact that you open them. But
Yeah.
Okay, well, while we're still doing this, I'm just going to sit in the back and now I'm Googling stuff about ketchup.
Well, so while you
Thank you, Betty.
Google, the drunken storyteller also asks, "Who got the Baron's floaty machines for funsies?"
Oh, definitely
Um,
fade.
Fade, right? He gets to float around the Gidi Prime palace
That's
now.
kind of terrifying.
He swoops in, stabs you, flies off, stabs you again.
Oh, that was one of the best visuals in the Dune movie, though, was when you got like the three Harkonnen just sort of flying up the rock face.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, so everyone knows the bottle lasts longer than the ketchup packets do. The ketchup
Okay.
packets
Really?
only last about 9 months.
But what's the difference between like a plastic and is it like the glass bottle or is it the plastic bottle?
It's just written as the bottle, and it's because of the fact that let's see, opened ketchup will keep for 1 month in the pantry. extend shelf life, keep it in the fridge. Unopened ketchup can last 1 to 2 years beyond the stamp date if taken care of properly.
Wow.
So apparently they put more effort into the uh, preservation process of a bottle than they do the ketchup packets.
I mean, well, now the
Okay.
question is like, if it goes bad, is it like, oh no, there's vinegar in this packet, or is it like, oh no, you have salmonella and you're dead. Good night.
I don't think it's that bad.
It
Former, not the latter.
seems like, well, according to the thing, it's since they have vinegar, tomatoes, sugar, salt, spices, it won't harm you if you eat them. So I'm presuming that means that all of the prime ingredients in it prevent it from going like bad in terms of germs, bacteria, but as far as flavor profile, I believe is where it goes bad.
So this just really supports my theory that expired ketchup turns into Worcester sauce.
Is that the same as Worcestershire sauce?
Yes. Some of
Oh,
us
okay.
know how to pronounce it correctly.
Okay, on that note, everyone or a bunch of people here know that I used to, basically demo products to sell. I got somebody to say, I have some wonderful Worcestershire sauce for a whole day.
Good for them.
Sorry
Oh,
about
wait,
that,
we're
Dusty.
given the drunken storyteller fits in chat.
Because of the Worcestershire?
We're not speaking the Queen's English here.
I mean, I married a man from Worcester, so it's Worcester sauce. Doing it right over here on the best coast.
Just
Alright,
because
What?
your
Eric,
weather is perfect.
here is the question that I've been waiting to ask. What should we expect from next season?
A lot, I would imagine, considering that the Harkonnens are back in power on Arrakis, the leadership of House Cheshire is running and hiding among the Fremen. The Mahdi's been presumed dead or lost after Harkonnen assault, and the entire leadership of the guild was liquidated. There's going to be a shift in focus to some of the other factions that don't usually get explored or talked about much in the series, like Ix in particular. More political action taking place there, and its ruling house Vernius. Uh,
I need to buy that DLC.
there may be some, yeah, there may be some survival stuff going on, a survival love story going on with Elois and Amira, and a war story with
Oh yeah, I can
Archibald and the New Jihad as they combat Allfather, and a political slash war story with Daphne and the Fremen. It could be presumed.
But which with the Cheshire surviving with the Fremen. You're welcome for finding and making an extra safe house. That was from Norman before she left.
And
Now.
well, and with all of that going on, you also have the power struggle between Raban and Fade within House Harkonnen, and of course you have Nadim, who has already climbed the ladder and established his own power base within the syndicates on Arrakis. So there's plenty of opportunities there for backstabbing and political intrigue and such.
Okay. So now I move the question to Daphne. What are you expecting from your character next season? And how are you going to play that?
Oh, so for Daphne, I'm kind of expecting like a closing arc for her. Not necessarily for her to die, but like now that her children are here, she's okay with like leaving them for a little bit in a siege if she's got to go do something. But other than that, it's like these children are the future of my house, and I have to focus on them. And so I would want to tie up just like the very last bits, like essentially the finale. Stilgar said, "We don't know what happened to Zoshir, and if he's gone, then we're gonna have to find a new Mahdi." Uh, and the candidates there are Paul and Masum, and Daphne would be like, "Well, if my brother doesn't want it, I guess it's the derpy teenager." Um, and so we're all now right back to where we started.
Mm.
Um, and then also do what she can to support Masum, do what she can to support Zoshir in as much as like there's narrative room for that. Um, pave the way for the rest of her house. Oh, and then if there is a new Butlerian jihad, wrangle that shit on Iasi.
Mhm.
You
All
know,
right,
liberate Arrakis, no biggie.
you know, I move to Nadim. How are you going to play your character next season, and what are you expecting? What is your thoughts on next season?
Well, I don't know. I'll just keep an open mind. Nadim's more of a kind of opportunist. Like he thinks strategically, but he tries not to plan too far ahead. He sees that as kind of a trap, so he just sees what opportunities exist and then makes the best of situations that they present themselves. So I have a long-term established goal, but that doesn't necessarily have to come to fruition on screen in a sense. So
Makes sense.
Hmm.
All right, Devin, since you don't have a character, I am going to ask, you want to be a smuggler? Have you thought about the character that you are going to be playing next season? Obviously, it's going to be.
Did you just say Halleck?
I did.
Are you going to be? Are you going to fight for the other side? You going to be an Iraqian?
Well, I was actually figuring I would be showing up as an opportunist,
Oh,
because let's face it, uh, that's what smugglers are,
Mhm.
and they'd be looking at her. It would be one of those situations where they would show up and it would be like, well, they got a decent chance. They got some weird kids that seem to be highly capable. Obviously, they've got the backing of the Fremen, which is cool because I can get some spice off of them. Uh, and Well, it sure as hell beats the Harkonnens, because if I fuck up with the Harkonnens, I'm screwed. If I fuck up with these people, well, I mean, I they've still got that, General dude. I heard some weird crap happen with him, and he's still here. So I mean, hey, I got a good chance staying alive with these people.
not wrong.
So
Plus, I mean, they took a Harkonnen in. I mean, they're crazy, so maybe crazy's good.
So before we get to the other questions in chat, I want to turn the question back on Jared. Where do you see Archie's story going?
Right now, I want it where I want it to go and where it does go. I've noticed have been two different things. I do want so I honestly think it's gonna go to X. In terms of Archie, I do think he's gonna become a machine. Well, not like what I want to do
More
is,
integrated, you mean?
yeah,
Well,
more integrated, but not
as Betty
the
has said, full nanite penetration.
Oof.
not
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
but
I just
not
picture him becoming a Stymek.
as I was saying, but
Mm.
not to the All Father, but in more of a sense in my own network. so that way I can kind of take over his network kind of thing, like big fishy.
Well, you could always try to head to Ix and make an overture to the technocratic government there.
Yeah. Or like I said, I have to become a new Dunes version of a Netrunner. As far as the space skill, because I am going to be basically saving their ass, they will owe me fucking big time if I. All right.
One step at a time. They have to
Exactly.
first
One step at a
rebuild
time.
their
We haven't even got
hierarchy.
to Higgs yet.
The guild's in
So,
complete disarray, so.
so, but yeah, no, I do plan on saving the guild or try to save the guild to the best of my ability. If that does happen, like I said, they're going to 100% owe me one. Plus, I already have leverage on them, considering they're the only ones that knew about the freaking this whole scenario, anyways. As far as Anessa, here's the thing: I really hope she doesn't, I guess, betray me. But I could also see the way her character is built. She hates machines, and I definitely think she's not going to like what Archie has to become in order to level the playing field here. Like that's the thing.
Just make sure that you've already got Archie number 2 in the works before you drop that bomb on her of, oh, by the way, going full board integration here.
Yep. So it's not, I guess it's not so much the sense that it's not so much the sense as like I don't want to be like Allfather, where I'm just a fully cyborg. But on the other hand, you have to even the playing field somehow. And I don't think I'll go full cyborg. I just think I will have some mechanical things about me.
Sure. No, I get it. You want to
In
fight,
order
fight,
to
and
level.
you're right. There has to be a cost to being
Yeah.
able to, subvert usurp his power. So
To
you're
him,
not
if
wrong
he has
about that.
to him, if he has to give up some humanity in order to save the humanity, then want to know what? Fuck it. And then that also brings another thing too with Anessa. Like, she also needs to understand that on two pile, 70% are going to be machines of some sort, or they're going to have some prosthetic that are machines because you want to know what the population is? They're all like refugees from Allfather, like taking over his shit and then breaking them out of his like little trance. So
Yeah, but then
means
there's
Big ball of
prosthetic,
yarn.
and then there's prosthetic.
what it isn't like a mechanical arm just a prosthetic in general, to be honest with you. It's just an integrated prosthetic.
I mean, it doesn't have to be integrated. It could be, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Well, it all
So,
depends. Go on, I'm sorry.
so Betty's Dungeon Adventures asks, who will be our Spice Girl next season now that Norma is worm food? And then I said, technically Sarkar food.
Yeah. And we already have our Spice Girl. The Duchess has been one of the Spice Girls. We just lost
The voice.
I don't know what.
Norma
No,
had the
I'm
voice,
trying to
Daphne
think.
didn't.
I'm trying to think of which Spice Girl left for a little bit.
Oh,
That's more Spice Girl
Sassy?
lore than I know.
yeah, no, I don't know.
Let's
If
just
you're
say
talking about
Sassy
like Bene
Spice.
Gesserit characters that came and went, you could
That'd
say
be Ginger Spice. Ginger Spice left.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
So we just lost Ginger. We still have another Spice Girl.
Betty suggests Panda.
I was just thinking
Yeah, I was
about
wondering.
Panda's character,
True,
the
true.
nurse, the nanny, Bene Gesserit nanny.
Pan-
Yes.
I
Thea's
honestly
mean-
miss her
This-
character. I love Thea. That was
That was amazing. Yeah, Thea
I
was great.
figure she's still around, so I could be Thea, watch the babies. I gotta go do something.
Oh, sure, no problem, ma'am. She'll sock anybody with an Orange Catholic Bible, original edition
Oh.
if they get too close.
Not the worst way to bring them up, especially in this milieu.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
the drunken
trying to imagine.
storyteller asks, what was your fave scene in the last season?
Hmm. Is this for everybody or?
I would
specific
assume for
someone?
everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, take it away. Start with you, Rachel.
Oh, I mean, it's recent, so it's stuck in my mind, but the scene in which Daphne is trying to get away from the Harkonnen
Mm.
was super fraught and anxiety, just like like I've never been more afraid that Daphne was gonna die. Um,
Oh.
other than that, yeah, I really liked all the interactions I got to have with the Fremen and sort of like tiptoe her towards getting more and more, for lack of a better term, integrated with the Fremen.
Mm.
And fun scenes with Zoshir. I miss Zoshir.
I'll go next. I have to go here pretty soon. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually
Favorite
have
scene?
two.
No.
So the first one, this one's a little bit more on the serious note, but I really loved your little fake out you did to me by killing all the fucking by killing all the Atreides. And they're like, oh, sorry, nope, you just fainted and you came back, and I'm like, oh, you gave me a freaking heart attack.
Okay, I'm only gonna cut in because that was also one of my favorite scenes because the moment that the All Father popped up, I just sent Rachel a text basically saying, Eric is just farming threat right now. None of this is real. That is 100% Eric farming threat.
I'm so
How dare
predictable.
No, it wasn't that it was predictable. I was like, it was just the fact of he just popped up out of nowhere, literal nowhere. There is no way. And then people started dying, and I was like, no, you didn't just.
Yeah, well, no, I was like, that is not how Duke Leto dies. That is not how he dies.
So on the more comedic side, I really loved the Yeva scene where she tried to blow me out of the sky.
I'm glad you enjoyed that one. I had fun writing it. I had fun conceiving like what that would look like. This reunion between you two.
That was hilarious. I enjoyed that a lot. But other than that those are my two favorite. But
Very good. What about you?
I do
Devin?
have to go. I gotta go get pizza real quick. So
Oh, enjoy.
yeah, you
Enjoy
guys
that
have a
pizza, sir.
terrific day.
Pizza.
I may be
The
back if you
spice
guys
of
are still on. So see
Rock
ya.
on.
the spice of the current world.
Yeah. What about you, Devin? What was your favorite scene from last season?
Well, that was definitely, like I said, the Archie scene. Oh man, that was fun because I called it so quick, and I was like, "There's no way!" People started dying, but also I thoroughly just enjoyed when you were doing the haunted siege.
Oh, that's surprising. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was one of those moments of what? No, that's not real. That's not real.
Haunted Siege.
And then we got a haunted siege. It was fun with a spice stockpile, which we kept.
A nice little reward for surviving that. Yeah.
Which is, like I said, something that the Duchess needs to remember now that she's on the run.
Yeah.
and still requiring spice.
I'm on Arrakis. I just need
Just
to
Yeah.
with the Fremen.
breathe.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'd be more
but
worried about Elois, who is addicted to spice and is on Seleucus Secundus currently. Like, there's many
I'm,
threats against her and
I
Amira currently.
I am sure that Salsa Secundus has a spice stockpile. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
Carino
but
homeworld.
Of
but
course,
can
but where?
Eloise get to it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All she needs to do is bend space around herself and just fold her way into the stockpile. Then she can go have a swim and become a third stage navigator.
Like a piece of origami. Yes, space origami.
Yeah, it,
What
it
about you?
it's super easy.
What about you, Moon? What was one of your favorite scenes from the season?
Um, well, I guess I had several, but I guess the most memorable one for me is definitely the last scene, the fight on the Thopter, I guess.
Oh, the dropship. Yeah, where they tried to throw you out without a
Yeah,
parachute.
that was a good scene. I think
Cool.
that was, I got to showcase some aspects of my character, which I hadn't really come out since the beginning of the show, so that was good. I enjoyed that, and it was a good setup, and I also like the fact that I could have died at any moment, so that was fine. Uh,
I I like your intro scene where you got your dog.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Roy.
yes, 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 and I managed to keep the dog even through a fight scene. So yeah, I jumped out.
That was one of my favorite scenes as well. Like his introduction and like how he handled the interaction with silly Harkonnen, and it's like he was like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm supposed to kill you." Like I don't know. He's just like that was a fun interaction. I like that a lot.
So are we thinking that maybe we want to take maybe a quick 5-10 minute bio break and then come back?
That's up to you all. If you have more questions to ask, we can. It
Well,
looks like
Uh,
I
it's
should
like 10 o'clock.
I should actually probably head out
Mhm.
myself. Uh,
okay.
but yeah, this was a lot of fun, and thanks for having me. I'm glad we could talk about Dune and all that.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you all soon.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, I guess in that case, it's a wrap. Um
It's
I
a spice
suppose
wrap.
The spice wrap, nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, Saga of Dune's far from over. Go watch the second Dune Part Two. It's in theaters still, and stay tuned to Stolen Fires and on Twitch and YouTube for more awesome TTRPGs and news upcoming for future games for our Dune saga here. If you want to reintroduce yourselves before we head out.
yeah. I'm
Oh,
Rachel.
let me go first. We always end on you, Rachel.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Devin. You can find me online at Sort of Sullied, and right now I'm a floating head.
I know. I did not know that he would log off that quickly.
Loading head. That's
Okay.
funny.
Yes, I'm Rachel. I'm Stolen Fires. You should come by our Discord. I will post an invite in the chat for anyone who isn't already in it. It's a pretty cool place full of cool people. And we are doing shows almost every day of the work week. We've got Fringeworthy on Monday, Wraith, Community Spirits on Tuesday, Tales from the Loop on Wednesday, The Between on Thursday, and then now that this season has wrapped, we are going to be doing a short run Old Gods of Appalachia campaign, which I'm looking forward to running. And then also to bookend what Eric said, USCPR, the situation is bad in Gaza, it's just getting worse. Please bully your Congress critter, do whatever you can, donate whatever you can. And thank you for that. And thank you also to Eric for running such a
Yes.
great season. I can't wait to see what happens next.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in and watching the show. Again, that's uscpr.org for the U.S. campaign for Palestinian rights. And I'm Eric at Modern Recluse Online. As always, bless the Maker and his water, bless the coming and going of him. May his passage cleanse the world, and may he keep the world for his people. Good night, everybody.
Night.